Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Stock Market Today. It's Alissa, Coram, and Ed Carson here. And Ed, what are we going to be talking about today? Oh, he's on mute. Hold that thought, audience.
I'm terribly
There
sorry.
he is.
We're going to take a look at Zscaler and Snap, which both cleared buy points. Also, Domino's Pizza, which nearly broke out today. But we're going to start with a look at the NASDAQ, which had a tremendous close.
Yeah, that it did, closing up about 1.3% for the day. The S&P 500 up 0.5%. The Dow finished roughly flat, but Ed, this rally is just seemingly unstoppable here. The NASDAQ looks like it didn't quite cross that 9,500 level again today, but definitely a closing high for this rally.
Yeah, I mean, we had some intraday moves, obviously, with the NASDAQ and growth stocks, but by the end of the week, the NASDAQ was higher, and the NASDAQ was starting to reassert its leadership, even though the Dow and S&P had bigger weekly gains. That was still a strong showing. Nobody would, you look on a weekly basis, you go, that's a great week for the NASDAQ. And at most growth stocks just had minor declines, all said and done. Very strong performance. It's nice to see some other stocks catching up because you can only have so much divergence. Just everything's looking really strong with this market. It was just a really impressive performance. When people were worried about what Trump was going to say about China, and even though he took some action about it, the market just, the moment he was speaking and as that ended, just took off.
Yes. So let's take a look at some individual names, starting off with Zscaler, an outstanding session for the security software stock, moving big on earnings, closing up almost 30% for the day. And this resembles another stock in the software sector that had a pretty big move on earnings after looking a little bit lackluster, or at least not the leading name in the report. I'm talking about Twilio. But anyway, Zscaler, strong numbers here on the quarterly report and closing at session highs for the day in a huge move.
Yeah, it was supposed to be declining earnings and slowing sales growth. Instead, you have 40% growth on both, accelerating, really impressive. It gapped above its old high, which was right around just below 90. Traditionally with earnings gaps, you could have probably bought it when it was crossing that high. We're probably saying it seems like somewhat extended now because it's well above that 90 level. Also, unlike Twilio, Zscaler was already sort of extended. It had already broken out, either around 66.60 or 73.70. So it had already was out there. So it sort of extended and then gapping up beyond that, and then to be so far above where it sort of opened, maybe you'd want to wait this for the consolidate, but you definitely want to watch it because it certainly shows that this work at home trend has really powered this stock once again, because it was a really hot stock in early 2019.
That's right. Well, when we see power like this from earnings moves, our research shows that often leads to further gains. So like you said, extended now, but definitely one for the watch list. And it would be really good to see it hold its gains here, maybe move sideways for a little bit. So we'll keep an eye on that. But elsewhere, another breakout that we saw today was from Snapchat owner Snap, gaining about 3% today in above average turnover, clearing a short consolidation of its own.
Yeah, the handle buy point, 1856. Getting above that, it's interesting because President Trump is going after, issued an executive order versus social media companies, and his real target seems to be Twitter and lesser extent Facebook, but those orders could still apply to Snapchat, but I guess people aren't too worried about those orders. The stock was moving higher yesterday, moving higher again, really strong move, strong volume is, yeah, as you're pointing out, nice. The downside is this company is losing money. It had a positive quarter 1 quarter ago. It's just not expected to be profitable, in a sustained way anytime soon. But it does have strong revenue growth. And the fact is a lot of these kind of stocks have been big winners over the past decade or so.
Yeah, that's right. Definitely a lot of power coming into that name today. So we'll keep an eye on it. But whereas maybe Zscaler is extended here, Snap, maybe it's still kind of in that chase zone.
Absolutely.
All right, and last but not least, let's check in on Domino's Pizza, one of our long-term leaders. Now, we've been eyeing this one really before and even through the crash. We're showing a lot of relative strength, and since this cup with handle breakout, it's kind of been moving sideways, but a very nice gain today, up almost 6%, and now it's nearing a new buy point here, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, the relative strength like fell off as the market was kept on rallying, and
Right.
it's never fun to say you're watching a stock go sideways if as the market goes up, but it did have a prior uptrend. It was outperforming the market for several months. It has, after going long term, it had a long track record, then paused, for a while, but you'd have to look on a monthly basis, and you see like it paused for a couple of years, but it had a long track record. Um, even though some restaurants are opening again, you still figure delivery is going to be a really strong market for the foreseeable future. Some eateries have probably benefited, like Postmates has given like free waive delivery fees for customers for 3 months, but eventually that'll go away. And so maybe
Mhm.
that was something that was holding back Domino's. I don't know, but yeah, it's pausing here, but now it's setting up again. It's a long-term leader. It's on leaderboard, and I believe they added it to Swing Trader today. So there's a lot of reasons to like it. Yeah, it sort of broke above that area. Now it's above that 385, 97 area, though still has the ultimate buy point of 387.95 from that flat base. Hopefully the relative strength line can continue to improve and move higher. But there's a lot of strong performance in the stock now and over the years.
Yes, definitely. One that we are keeping a close eye on, as, like you said, it is a long-term leader, meaning it has proven that it can outperform over the long term, not just the overall market, but even the likes of Apple, for example, over the long term. So if you haven't checked out our long-term leaders list yet, make sure you do that at investors.com. It is in the stock lists section. Always one of the many good places to find some good trading ideas out there.
Yeah, and in this kind of market, when you saw how the techs, the big, some of the high-flying techs whipsawed this week, having a long-term leader maybe outside of the tech field, and to balance out your portfolio is probably a good idea. So you don't have these swings where your portfolio suddenly drops 12% in a day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. Always good to have those long-term leaders balancing out your portfolio, like you said. And we're talking all the time about those high octane names and the long-term leaders every morning on IBD Live. And if you've not yet checked that out, we hope you join us. It's our daily morning live stream where our experts share their screens and provide the insights that you need to help improve your trading game. We hope you join us at investors.com/IBD Live. And that's it for today, everyone. But just a reminder, these conversations are for informational and educational purposes only. So make sure to do your own research. And it's the weekend, so that's a great time to go through your weekend trading routine. A lot of resources for you at investors.com. But thank you so much for joining us. We hope you have a great weekend, and we'll see you right back here next week.